Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to learn about artist Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was born in Spain and he had trouble in school, but his father, an art teacher, didn't mind as Pablo preferred to draw instead. He moved to Paris to attend art school when he was 23. He was quite poor and painted lots of sad scenes. This was called his blue period. Picasso experimented with his art and along with a friend, he created Cubism. Cubists paint objects from many angles and ignored round shapes and the rules of perspective. Here's a picture of what Pablo Picasso looked like. So for today's lesson, we're going to create a Cubist bird, and that's going to be in the rose color period or the blue color period, depending on you, because you're the artist. Here are the materials that we're going to use today. Plain paper, a black crayon, some watercolors if you have them. I have my water and brush to go along with that, or whatever you need or whatever you have to create is always perfectly fine. Okay, so let's get started. First, we're going to draw our Cubist bird. So we know that birds are made up of lots of different shapes, but because we're talking about Picasso, we're going to keep our lines very straight and very angular. So let's start by putting our hand on one side of the paper and finding the middle kind of near the edge. Here is where I'm going to draw a horizontal line, not too big, just about 2 finger spaces long. Next, I'm going to make a diagonal and a diagonal. So it kind of looks like an arrow. All right, friends, we're going to create a triangle on the top and a triangle on the bottom, and that is going to be our bird's beak. So now we're going to create the shape of the eye. Now, normally I would say we're going to use a circle, but because we're thinking like Pablo Picasso, we're actually going to change that circle to a square. So right over here, I'm going to make a square. All 4 sides are just about the same. I'm going to put a small dot inside my square. Now it's looking more like an eye, and 3 lines for some eyelashes, and maybe even an eyelid. So that is going to be the beginning of our Cubist bird. Now, starting at the top point of the beak, I'm going to make a straight line up. That is going to be the head of my bird. So now I'm going to make another line down. Notice I'm using all straight lines, even though in nature that wouldn't be the case. We are creating Cubist, and it even has the word cube in it. Okay, now another horizontal line to make the back of my bird. All right, we're doing a great job. Let's come over here and finish off the beginning and the head of our bird. So I'm going to form another diagonal line. And this time I'm going to connect it all the way up to the top. You can kind of see we're building our shapes. So next we're going to come over here and we're going to make a line that kind of is on a diagonal down, forming a triangle shape. And we're going to come over here and finish some of our shapes going this way by making a diagonal line here as well. So you can start to see we're closing in. Now I'm going to think about what's going to go in the center of my bird by adding some wings, and I don't want them to get overlapped. So I'm going to create kind of like ice cream cones, a little top, a little line, and then a triangle, and one more, a little smaller, rainbow top, straight line, and now the last one. So you can see I have my bird's wings, and that will allow me to finish my next shape, which is to start at the top, hit my rainbow ice cream, and then also come down here and make a triangle. So you can see why it was important to put those in so we didn't run them over with our black crayon. Now I'm going to come over here, stop at the top of the ice cream cone, and also come down here and finish off another triangle. That leaves me with one last line to make my final triangle shape. So we've been talking about circles, we talked about rectangles, and now we're talking about triangles that have those 3 sides and 3 corners. Okay, you might want to stop here and add some beat for your bird to hop along on. I'm going to use some straight lines and some going this way, oops, some going this way, some going this way, and this way. All right, you can see when you press down hard, sometimes the crayon crumbles. Okay, here we go. Now we're making another line up and another line out. And we're starting to make our bird's tail feathers. I'm going to connect those lines and make some more triangles. Up, up, triangle, and out, out, triangle. And you can even add one more triangle to your bird's feathers. This is our Cubist bird. And now is for the fun part where we get to color, baby, color. So let's think for a minute about the colors we heard about when we were talking about Picasso. He oftentimes would create pictures using all shades of blue, or when he was happier, all shades of red and rose colored. What we're going to do, because our palettes might not have that many tints or shades of one color, we're going to talk about warm colors like yellow, orange, and red, and cool colors like green, blue, and purple. So you choose if you want to use warm or if you want to use cool colors. And I'll leave this handy so that you can see what colors we are choosing from. I'm going to choose cool colors. So I'm going to look at these 3 colors right here. There, we can see them all. Get rid of the red because that's warm. Now you can see right here, green, blue, and purple. And I'm going to make my bird all shades of green, blue, and purple. So here's the fun part. You get to just pick, swirl, and color in each shape. Make sure you get your brush nice and wet. There we go, that's better. And fill in your shapes, making sure to swirl on your tippy toes and add some color. So that is a light blue. Maybe I want to add a dark blue. So I will choose the dark blue in my palette. Remember, not all palettes have exactly the same types of colors. So again, you could choose anything that you are thinking in the cool color. If you're painting with warm colors, you would choose anything in your warm color range. So I have 2 different kinds of blue. Maybe I'll add some purple because that's a cool color. Purple beak, maybe a purple eyelid, maybe some purple wings. And you will continue to fill in your colors. And you can see some of them are even blending a little. That is perfectly okay. All right, some more blue here, maybe for this triangle. And also in this cool color family is green. So I'm going to try using some green. Actually, it's like a teal. So it has a little bit of blue in it. So look at that pretty color and how this is looking pretty colorful. I love it. Okay, so now I'm going to continue with either blue, green, or purple. I'm going to fill in that guy, maybe some lighter green tail feathers. And my final triangle, I'm thinking should go back to being blue. So remember, anything you choose is perfectly okay because you're the artist. Excellent. Now that I've painted my bird in, it's up to you what you decide to do in your background. You can make it as colorful as you'd like, or you can add some details with items like your crayon. So if you were thinking about cool colors, you could use colors like blue, purple, or green. So the same colors that I chose for my bird, I would choose for my background, because remember, we're thinking like Picasso. So now you could go ahead and paint your background if you so desire, making sure that you are careful around those bird parts. And notice I'm painting right over my crayon marks, and that is because crayons resist. So it's pretty cool when you can paint right over your lines and still have them show. So that's part of the fun. If you use some crayons in your design, you can paint over them and they will resist. So that is another little tip when you are using watercolor paints. You can mix it with some crayon and it won't smudge or smear, and it will just fly right over the top. So this is how you paint a cubist bird, something that Pablo Picasso himself would have liked. So I hope you enjoyed making your cubist birds, and I can't wait to see what you create.